Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're looking at running for president.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red cake.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump will not become president.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Donald Trump will never, ever be president.
Moderator, but apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 30.
We have a key race alert right now. Donald Trump now has reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican presidential nomination.
So, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
Donald Trump, while we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8 electoral votes, in Indiana with its 11 electoral votes, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes, North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear.
Together, we will make America great again.
Welcome, everyone, to Cobra Cast IRL, the single greatest and most important show in the history of YouTube with IRL, part of the name. Snake Pit, rise up, Cobra crew in the house. Let's get this party started. I see all of you. Lovely, lovely people in the chat. I apologize, it's a little bit later. We had a stream over on Geeks and Gamers. I think a lot of you saw my Geeks and Gamers daily stream today where I really looked tired because I was tired, and I have been tired because I've been working a lot. I've been doing, this is my 4th stream today, and this is coming off of multiple streams every day, but that new Geeks and Gamers show has really kind of thrown a wrench into my sleep schedule, but that's okay because we're here. Now, I have been thinking about some time changes for this stream because I don't think I can do it at like 1 o'clock in the morning forever because I clearly need sleep. That's just kind of part of life, unfortunately, but we got to keep it going. We got to keep the grift going. That's the most important thing. So we are here, and I see all of you in the chat. Steel Haven. Let's see. GM Steel Haven became a new member. Welcome. Welcome to the Cobra crew. Welcome to the Snake Pit. I got some videos over on Discord that you guys have sent me. We're going to check some of those out. So looking forward to that. Eric K. Swig of water for the hardest working grifter on YouTube. I'll drink to that. Swig of water for the grifting man right there. Thank you, Eric K. There we go. There we go. But obviously, this might be a little bit shorter Cobra cast than normal. It might be like an hour because I do have the morning show that I have to get to. And ultimately what I'm thinking about doing is, since we are locked in on that morning show for Geeks and Gamers, which is 11 Eastern, 10 Central, I might just do Cobra Cast right after that. I don't know yet. We've been pulling really good numbers for that Geeks and Gamers show. You know, I told you guys this show was going to evolve and do other things. And right now with my schedule, how it's been, the only time I could do this really consistently was later. So it might be a situation where we're able to do it right off of that show. I'm not sure. I know that's not going to make I'm going to upset people regardless of what I do. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just know that this schedule worked for some people. Earlier schedule worked for some people. I'm trying my best to accommodate as many of you awesome people as possible. So we're working on it. We're working on it. We will see. Somebody said it's vodka. No, it's not. I'd have never drank alcohol a day in my life. So that is water. That is straight water and nothing else. Jeremy don't drink. D-Day Cobra does not drink. Never has, never will. It's just a personal decision. So I got nothing against people if they drink. It's just not my thing at all. Never has, never will be my thing. We got Stacy S. 1999 says putting in work. Hey, why wouldn't I put in work when I have such amazing support from all of you? It's truly the best feeling in the world. It really is. Lawrence DeWolf, the hardest working geek in the game. Thank you. Hayden, 75. Hayden Wayne in the house. Hey, guys, Jeremy finally showed up. Jeremy, much love. So did you hear Steve Forbes? Yes, Forbes magazine talking about banking stuff. 2024 has a chance. It is the chance we have to save it. Bro, so what I want to do, and I said this today. So we had the political stream today, and thank you, Hayden, and everybody else for being here. What I said today during the political stream was I have intentionally not done a ton of research on the banking stuff because I wanted to watch a couple of videos with you guys to kind of get more into it. I am skeptical when the mainstream media covers something as aggressively as they've covered it. I'm not saying this isn't going on, by the way. I know that it is a thing. But right after the January 6th narrative blew up in their faces, suddenly we've forgotten about it. And that's the whole thing, is like, that's what's bothering me. These people have not wanted to stop talking about January 6th for a long time. That's all they've wanted to talk about. That's been their entire existence. And then as soon as we get all of this footage that Tucker Carlson releases, suddenly this massive story that has so many major implications gets signal boosted. I'm not saying that the story isn't legitimate or real. I'm saying that the mainstream media has they set on things so that when they need another story to turn your attention away from a real story, they push it up. And I mean, again, the January 6th narrative just fell apart so unbelievably when that happened. And what made it worse was that Elon Musk got involved. Elon Musk got heavily involved in it and made it even a bigger deal. So you had Tucker Carlson, you had Joe Rogan, and you had Elon Musk talking about it. This was their claim to get Trump gone. This was it. This was going to destroy Trump forever. And they made a fake committee over it. They built all of these lies over it. All of these celebrities, all these politicians, all of these rhinos, like they just could not stop talking about it. And then, boom, suddenly it's nowhere to be found anymore because we have to talk about things that are going to have a real impact on all Americans and all people with this banking problem. And again, whenever the media talks about something this much, I am always going to second guess it and take a deeper look at that. I think Coffeezilla does have a video on this. I don't know if that's a good video to check out. I'm kind of 50-50 on Coffeezilla. I think he does good work for sure. But you know, I don't know. I'll let the chat decide if I should watch Coffeezilla's. Should I watch Coffeezilla's video? It's only about 8 minutes. So Coffee, is it just Zilla? I think that's how you say it. Video. Oh, should I react to Coffeezilla's video? Yes or no? It's an 8-minute video. So there you go. There's the poll right there. So we will see. I see we had a celebrity in the chat. There's a celebrity in the chat. Drunk 3PO says this is the greatest show on YouTube. Drunk 3PO, congratulations, my brother, on 60,000 on your campaign. If you guys have not backed his campaign over on Indiegogo, please consider doing that. Mod's going to be dropping links over there. Maybe maybe we could push this thing to 65 or 70 before it's all said and done. Who knows? But Jay is doing great things. I'm so proud of him. So we love Jay. He is the man. We got Alex Jones here. 1-6 narrative collapsed faster than Building 7. What's going on, Alex? Good to see you here. We're big fans, obviously. You know that. I have your phone number, so I'll text you all the time. So it's good to see Alex Jones here in the house. It'd be sad to see Cobra Cast go to mornings. I'm a night person and like having something to counter those morons, Colbert and Kimmel. I hear you on that. I hear you, man. And I don't know. I'm trying to juggle it as much as I can. And I have so much on my plate right now, but this show is so important to me and I want to maximize it to the best of my ability. But like this morning, like if you watch me on that Geeks and Gamers Daily show, I was kind of out of it. And I can't be in that position moving forward to build Geeks and Gamers. Hayden for 50. Glenn Beck had Steve Forbes on for the last 15 or 20 minutes of his show tonight. He talked about the socialist approach. They're mounting a multi-form war. Yes, they got found out on J6 stuff, but the collapse of banking is severe. Currency swap soon. And I agree. Like, I agree that there is a real problem, and I don't mean to dismiss that there's because I know there's a real problem with the banking stuff. I really do, but the timing is just incredibly convenient for them. Incredibly convenient. And I just don't know how, like, again, so you guys want me to 72 to 28. So it looks like we're watching Coffeezilla's video for sure. It looks like we're going to be watching that one. And that, look, I think Coffeezilla is a really smart guy, and he's really plugged into things. And when he covers things, I think he does a decent job. What I wonder with Coffeezilla is like I heard him cover the Andrew Tate stuff. And again, this whole Andrew Tate thing, I am so skeptical of all of that because of the fact that we have not seen any evidence whatsoever. And so Coffeezilla like signed up to like Hustlers University or whatever. And you could tell Coffeezilla definitely doesn't like Andrew Tate. Okay, that's fair. But your whole approach to it felt biased as hell. And so the Logan Paul stuff was really fantastic work. He's covered Epstein stuff though, so I mean, hey, shout out to him for that. So, but he always comes off a little like he definitely toes the mainstream line, if that makes sense. But I don't know. Hayden, the timing is perfect for them, Jeremy. That's why they needed to destroy banking, multi-front war. Yeah, and it is. It's more than just what we're seeing. You're right about that. It's a multi-front war. You're 100% right. Magnum Norse, Captain Gavin, just coming to live streams. To live stream. Yeah, I mean, the whole Gavin thing, I'm completely over the Gavin stuff at this point in time. It's whatever. I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit on Friday Night Tights in a couple of days, but we have a great guest on, Benny Johnson, who was just on Timcast tonight. It was funny because he texted us about that, and I just said, tell Tim I said hi, and I was like, I'm being sarcastic. Please don't. I thought that was kind of funny. But Benny Johnson is a rock star, bro. And Benny, what you guys like, Benny has been helping us out a lot. Benny's in Tampa. We're in Orlando. Benny has done a lot for us. Like, he's connecting us with people. He's connecting us with advertisers. He's connecting us with a lot of people because Benny is way plugged in. Like, this dude is a big deal, and he loves Geeks and Gamers. He loves what we do. He loves the fact that we are having an impact from that perspective, and he knows how important it is. Benny Johnson is as legit as you're going to find. He is the real deal, a good guy. And so they see all this enthusiasm. They see all the support. They see Tuesday night's main event. They see Cobra Cast. They see Friday Night Tights. They see our gaming streams. They see the passion that the community of Geeks and Gamers has, and it blows their minds how much support that they see. And so that's not me, that's you. And that's why I keep saying I'm not the most important piece of this puzzle. Ryan's not. No one here at Geeks and Gamers is the most important piece of the puzzle without you. Without all of you, we are nothing. And that's why I took such exception to Timcast, to Tim Pool shutting down his chat, making it members only. That's a bad move. dude is far more successful than me, so maybe it's not my place to tell him what to do, but I think it's a horrible move to make people pay to simply comment and have a voice in your chat. You already have a paying membership on your website, so to force people to pay for a free service on YouTube, I think is a dick move. But hey, it is what it is. It's his channel. He can do whatever the hell he wants, and I can criticize that if I want. But I'm really thankful for all of you. I really am, and I really appreciate it. So smash the melee button. If you are just tuning in to Cobra Cast, we're going to cover some of this January 6th stuff. We're going to cover some of this banking stuff. It looks like we're going to be reacting to this Coffeezilla video. 73% says yes, so we're going to get into that. Sophie says hi. Take turns one day, one morning. Let's see. Yeah, take turns one day morning, one day night. That might, I don't know, man. Like, what I would like to do, I don't know, there's probably a compromise somewhere, but I'm willing to hear all of you out. Someone mentioned Sargon in the chat. I would love to get Sargon here on CobraCast. We've had him on Friday Night Tights. We've spoken with him about doing some stuff with him, so I think that would be super cool. We got Alec Baldwin's finger. The daily Geeks and Gamers and CobraCast are more important than Fortnite streams. If sleep is the issue, don't shoot the messenger. Just saying. Hey, and I hear you, bro. What I would say to that is that with the reason the Fortnite streams are important for me is they're almost therapeutic, because it takes me out of the grind of covering, like, I've been covering identity politics and the destruction of our culture for, well, let's see, it's 2023 now. So I've been doing this since like 2017, 2018. So covering things that are doing things that I enjoy is kind of like, it's almost necessary. It's almost like changing the oil in your car, or, kind of getting that mental break from stuff. So that's why the video game streams are kind of important. And it also gives, like, we are gamers, we are geeks and gamers. So to have that gaming element is important. So trust me, I make a lot more money on a stream like this than I do a Fortnite or a Mario Kart stream. And that's just the reality of it. That doesn't mean that one's better than the other, but like from a business standpoint, like, it would make a lot more sense from a businessman. If I was the grifter and the money hungry person that, fucking Twitter says I am, then I would never do a Fortnite stream. I would just do these solo streams, but I stopped even doing these solo streams for a while. But your feedback is definitely appreciated, Alec Baldwin's finger, because it's important. But yeah, I mean, like, we're gonna start playing some Modern Warfare 2. And yeah, I definitely think we need more diversity of games for sure. And I know that's a criticism, but swig of water for the working man. GamerWare says, I remember when Germ launched the G&G website. Old school stuff. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, so that's one of the gaming streams is something. Just, it's like, man, at some point, like, I love roasting Hollywood, but it's almost getting sad to the point where now I'm happy that the Mario Brothers movie's coming out, because at least I've got something positive to talk about. You know what I mean? At least there's something to look forward to. I mean, I have a couple of concerns, but the excitement far outweighs the concerns at this point in time. And we're less than a month from that movie, and I'm going to be kind of digging deeper into that stuff as we move forward. So yeah, man. Let's see. Sargon or even some of the other lads from podcast of the Lotus Eater would be great for either on Geeks and Gamer Stuff or FNT. Yeah, it was great having Sargon on. Sargon reached out to me back in like 2019, and I didn't know much about Sargon at that point in time, but he'd want to do some collabs back then, and I never took him up on those offers. But luckily, we got him on Friday Night Tights. We connected. He's been a fan of Geeks and Gamers for a long time, which still was crazy to me, because like when we had him on FNT, that was the first thing he said. He's like, "Yeah, man, dude, it's cool being on here. I've been watching Geeks and Gamers since you started everything back in 2018 when you started getting some traction." I'm like, that is wild that you've been following me. Sargon of Akkad's been following Geeks and Gamers? What? That makes no sense. That's crazy. But guys in the backstage, drop the link to Coffeezilla's banking video so we can kind of check that out. I want to show you guys something really quick before we get into that. Check this one out right here. So this is on point for what my whole topic was for what we wanted to talk about today. But I want you guys to look at this right here. So this is from our boy Benny Johnson, okay? And Let's see. Let me click on this. So right here, as I said, I don't want us to stop talking about January 6th because they don't get to say all this stuff for all this time. They don't get to spread all these lies. They don't get to withhold this video from us just for it to go away because you found a more important story and because your narrative blew up. You don't get to do that. So we're going to continue to highlight this story because it's necessary. This is from Benny Johnson. And it says, this body cam footage from inside the Senate chamber blows the narrative that Jacob Chansley didn't listen to officers when they told him to leave out of the water. So right here, it blows it right out of the water. Here we go. I don't know how many of you have seen this yet, but here we go.
Sorry, up here. Up here, the dice. Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you.
Roger that.
Yeah, time to go. Time to go. It's like it's literally like the meme of it's just a fucking guided tour. Hey guys, time to go. Let's move on to the next attraction. Unbelievable. Incredible. It's insane. Unbelievable.
Yeah, hot.
God bless the men and women in blue. God bless you, God. We love you. You're on your side. Thank you for
So the moment that he was told it's time to leave and everyone else in there, they leave. Now, again, this does not change the fact. I will call it like I see it. Do I think that this guy, Jacob Chansley, is an idiot for putting himself in that position? Yes. Do I think you're an idiot for going into the Capitol building, regardless if the doors were open? I do. You've got to be smarter than that. Like, you've got to realize that's just not going to happen in that environment. Like, but it doesn't change the fact that these guys have been completely fucked. Like, this is insanity, dude. This is insanity. Time to go. That's right, gamer word. Time to go. Police, time to go. Protesters. Okay. Lost Tales, you know, it's almost as if they don't want you to know they're lying. They get some kind of sick pleasure from letting you see the truth of what happened as they push their agendas. Yep. God, man.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, officers. God bless you guys.
Thank you, officers. They're saying thank you, officers. Violent insurrection.
Thank you for your patience.
One more time. We're going to back that up for the people in the back. This is the violent insurrection.
Thank you, officers. God bless you guys. Thank you for your patience. We really appreciate it. Not as glorious in person, is it? Not as glorious. It smells like an old church. Thank you, guys.
Bro. God, man. This is what the left has. They planted their flag with this nonsense right here. They planted their flag as that this was worse than 9/11. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is the worst moment of all time. We just had video of Jacob Chansley reading Trump's tweet saying, hey, Trump said for us to leave. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Now, again, they decided to make him the face of the insurrection. They did that. He was your symbol of all of this. He was your symbol. Jacob Chansley was the symbol of the insurrection. Now we have him on video that you previously withheld. where he's saying, hey guys, Trump says we need to leave. We need to go home in peace. This is what Trump is saying. But your narrative was that Trump was inspiring and pushing for all this to happen. Yet the guy that you made the face of it is on video saying Donald Trump is telling us to leave and go home in peace.
We gotta send him out there. Let's go.
Amazing. Amazing. Why wasn't that talked about with Liz Cheney and the January 6th committee? Why was that video never shown? They withheld all of this. I don't know what he was saying. Was he saying freedom? Is that what he was saying? Okay, he was saying freedom. So I just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. That's the January 6th. That was the worst day in the history of our country. Like, do you guys, like, do you understand? I don't know how many people are old enough to remember. I mean, I know a lot of you will be. Bro, like, do you remember how bad 9/11 was? That was horrific on every single possible level. It will never go away. The impacts of that day and that moment changed the world forever. And I remember it. I remember the morning it happened. I remember where I was. I remember what I was doing. And it was horrific. It was unbelievably horrific. And to this day, now I don't get, like, I guess at times, like, it's very few and far between that I get emotional. When I went to the 9/11 memorial in New York for the first time, which was only a few years ago, I don't care who you are. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care how emotionless you are. I don't know how a person can go there and stand there and feel the weight of that moment and not get emotional. It is powerful. It's tangible and it's powerful. And I don't know how many of you have been to the memorial in New York, but it is wow. You know what I mean? And so it blows me away that I hear people try to compare January 6th to 9/11 for anything, comparing anything to 9/11. You know? And if you were around, like, even if you were young when all that happened, like, you know the level of disrespect that comes with that. Where did I find this video? Someone said Benny Johnson uploaded this one. So if you go to Benny Johnson's Twitter, you can go and check that out. But yeah, man, I mean, you just had unbelievable tributes around the world. It was truly as tragic as 9/11 was, and it truly was it's probably the worst tragedy I've ever experienced. Like, it unified so many people for all the right reasons. And for the record, I can't stand George W. Bush. I can't stand the Bush administration or Dick Cheney. I hate those guys. But everybody put their politics aside and just kind of united. It was truly the most united I've ever seen us as a people ever. And January 6th is nothing more than a political hit job. That's all it is. It's a political hit job. And you really have politicians, you have actors, you have media people that are out there saying this was worse than 9/11. It's the biggest slap in the face to 9/11 you could possibly have. It pisses me off. It pisses me the fuck off. And I think anybody that says that needs to be completely checked and annihilated on social media. Ratio the fuck out of them. Ratio them, destroy them, and embarrass them, and shame them. Shame them to the point where they just break down in tears because they deserve it for disrespecting 9/11. 9/11 is not your political hit job piece. 9/11 is not a political talking point. 9/11 was a horrific tragedy that none of us will ever experience, hopefully, again in our lifetimes. The view of those buildings collapsing again, I can talk about New York back then because New York now is embarrassing in a lot of ways. But back then, New York was a symbol. It symbolized, America. It symbolized so much about the country, and people were proud. And, it was somewhere that you aspired to go. Now, I mean, good Lord. I mean, I went to New York during COVID and it was a goddamn disaster. You know what I mean? But back then, that was the symbol for our country. And so watching it collapse right before our very eyes with planes flying into buildings versus a guided tour, and you have politicians making that connection. It's fucking crazy, man. It's crazy. Swig of water for the working man. But I just wanted to cover that because I don't want us to lose sight of that story as we get further into this banking thing. And the media is just going to continue to push that because that's what they do. That's who they are. They're really bad people. And now we're going to get full-fledged into this banking stuff, which again is important. Let's see. Okay. Let me catch up on the super chats. Thank you guys for being here. Smash the melee button if you don't mind. That means like the video, Snake Pit. And if you are new to the D-Day Cobra channel, my name is D-Day Cobra. My name is Jeremy. I am the creator of Geeks and Gamers, so you may know me from over there. But this is my personal channel, D-Day Cobra. And we have a lot of fun over here. We talk about serious topics. We like to meme. So, unlike Tim Pool, I'm okay if you put a Jack Murphy beard on me because memes are funny. Okay. Memes are funny. I saw one of these clowns that does this. I saw one of these leftists, white leftists that really hates Eric July, Young Ripa, really hates him because the worst thing you can be to a white leftist is a black person that's successful, which Eric July is. So let me see if I can find it. Somebody tagged me in it. Where's it at? What's this guy's name? What's the fucking guy's name that got like the Captain America fucking looking face, or he's got like the Captain America profile that he hates Ripa. This is the white leftist that's got a really soy boy voice and he hates Ripa. He hates me, but he really hates Ripa. What's this guy's name? Like this guy's claim to fame. That's it. Yes. Actual fandom. That's it. Okay. So somebody, I guess Jack Murphy bearded him, and he I guess he was confused by it. Here it is. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody tagged me in this. So, here it is. Okay. So he doesn't get it. That's the funniest part. So again, this is a white leftist that really hates when black people are successful. We need to put that out there. White leftists really don't like when black people are successful. So he tweeted this out, and he's like, "This image created by one of my detractors was brought to my attention. I'm just trying to understand where the insult is." He doesn't get it. He posted the picture of himself. He fucking did it himself. What a fucking retard. What a stupid idiot. He's like, "Hey guys, I've got a alpha male beard, guys. Where's the joke? he doesn't get it. Oh man, that's fantastic. He limits the replies. Even Jarbo's like, dude, look up Jack Murphy. I think they literally used his beard. Seems like a fucking asshole. Holy shit. So again, white leftists really hate when black people are successful. This person's entire online identity is centered around hating the fact that Eric July is married to a beautiful black woman. Eric July has a thriving business, a thriving YouTube channel, and has hired people of all backgrounds to work for his company. And that's a very, very big problem for a white leftist. So those that preach the loudest have the most to hide. So the real racists are showing up right now, and they didn't even know they were getting memed. My goodness. Holy shit. Let me show you something else really quick. And I'm going to get to super chats here in just a minute. So something Ryan showed me today, and we got to watch this here in just a minute, and we will. This is a hilarious video that I saw today. All right, so we got Magnum North says Benny Johnson is so base that his vertical is negative 20 inches. Benny Johnson's awesome. Joe C. Pure Blood. Been in this game a long time. Nothing is coincidence. Crypto digital based currency will be pushed as replacement for our dollar. Cheers, bro. Gunny Z, $10, says nothing, leaves it on the table, walks away. Thank you. Magnum Norris, we need Pelosi's phone records on January 6th. And Hayden for 10 says, I agree with Magnum Norris on not only Pelosi, but all official phone email records since the election should be pulled and made public. What was discussed? Exactly. 100%. Mary Nicholson, member 1 month. My fiance was in school in the Netherlands and they showed it on TVs in class there when it happened. So he remembers better than me. It was truly an awful situation, man. It really was. Hayden 5 says, I got into politics. Let's see. Hang on. My bad. I was in 5th. Hayden for 20 says, I was in 5th grade, 10 years old on 9/11/01. My school got shut down after all 400 students were pulled into the library and watched Tower 2 get hit. We went home and I remember the security of that. J6 was nothing. It was wild. Yeah, man. Like, again, for people that were not that did not experience September 11th, man, like, it's hard to comprehend it. It's hard to even describe it. I woke up after the first plane hit, and not long after, I'm watching CNN, and the second plane just comes out of nowhere and hits, and I'm like, what is going on? Is this a movie? Is this real? Like, my brain could not process what I was seeing. And then you slowly watched them fall, and it was awful. And yes, so schools were impacted. Businesses were I lived in the state of Florida, I lived in Panama City, Florida when this was happening. Everything was being shut down. Everything was being impacted. The whole entire United States airlines were shut down. I think the world, I can't remember if it was the world or not, but I know in the US, like, all airline was shut down. All air travel was shut down. Schools were shut down. Businesses were shut down. Military was everywhere. And I'm in Florida, and this was going on in New York. And you're trying to tell me that January 6th was anything remotely close to that? Shut the fuck up. You are a piece of shit if you make that comparison. You are a horrible, horrible person if you make that comparison. It's disgusting. Xanaximus, gonna echo Razor when he said all of this footage coming out. I'd love to hear what Pelosi said to the officer shortly before he shot Ashley Babbitt. You said it, just like Hayden just said it, just like Magnum North just said it. Hayden, I got into politics on 9/11/01, spent a lot of years in that world. Yeah, man. I remember Alan Jackson's a country music singer. Alan Jackson had a song Where were you when the world stopped turning? And it's a freaking powerful song. I like country music, so I don't listen to current country music, but I listen to, old school country music for me, which is like Alan Jackson, Garth Brooks, George Strait, Clint Black, all those guys. But yeah, that song that Alan Jackson made was very, very powerful, very powerful. Gunny Z says, Jeremy, I'm a real boomer. I'm 69. Nice. You and Gary keep doing what you're doing. It's important that you do so. Thank you. Appreciate it. John becomes a new member. Thank you so much, John. Fatty Ludus says, American flags were everywhere, every house, car, and lamppost. 9/11 united us. It 100% united us, man. And I think that's what, there's not, like, obviously there's far more negative that came out of that day and that moment. But man, it really was like, I don't know if we'll ever get that unity again. Respect, like everybody, stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, took their hat off, put their hand over their chest. Patriotism was at an all-time high. And you knew that every single person was united, and it made you realize as Americans that we're going to survive this and we're going to defeat the evil that, created this. And it felt good, and you felt good, and you felt like my neighbor, my brother, my fellow human has my back. You felt that. You don't feel that these days. Fuck's sakes, I can't even talk about publicly in the streets that I support Donald Trump without worrying about some psychopath's going to try to attack me. You got Joe Biden's obsessed with taking guns. People are just canceling people over a fucking comment. That was the beauty of the unity that came with 9/11. And all J6 is a fucking political hit job designed to tear down the greatest president of my lifetime, Donald J. Trump. That's all that is. Lying dog face pony soldier for $1.99. Thank you. Josh for 10. That Dane guy was the same dude who started that post on Twitter that had a link to a Google Doc for people who could fill out who were harassed by Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, Eric July. It's really, my God. These people are crazy, man. They really are. Fantastic Mr. Knox. I'll never forgive those who say J6 matters more than 9/11. Disgusting. Agreed. Alec Baldwin's finger for $10. 9/11 made everyone pro-war and gave us the Patriot Act. I give you that. The Patriot Act obviously was a huge negative. I was not pro-war, even though, because again, I hated George W. Bush. I hated this man, and I still do, by the way. I mean, it's pretty interesting that a lot of these, you get pictures with Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, Joe Biden. They love to take pictures because they're all part of the same fucking club, and they all hate Donald Trump. You know what I mean? And so not getting into the George Bush element, because I put my hatred for George Bush aside because of my love for the unity we were having and the pain for what I was seeing. So as much as I didn't like George W. Bush, I still put that dislike aside because I saw that there was a bigger picture. Now, I think George W. Bush misused all of that. In retrospect, he clearly did. And I felt like he was always going to do it because I never liked it. I mean, I liked George Bush at first. Because, growing up in a conservative side of the family, it was like, yeah, we support Republicans, but it's pretty clear George W. Bush is a piece of shit, early on. But yes, but I took my dislike of him and my hatred of him, and I set that aside because I felt like there was a bigger picture in mind, which is something these weirdos that hate Trump can't do. They cannot. They will support literally any human being on the planet not named Donald Trump based on their NPC hatred of Trump. And that is a huge problem, which is why we have who we have in the office right now. No, I did not Nitrium. I did not vote for Jeb. God, the Bush family, I think, is just as bad as the fucking Clinton crime family. I think the Bush crime family is just as bad. Maybe not as bad, okay? Because Hillary's, she didn't really hide it that much. I guess the Bush family's better at hiding it. But yeah, I hate the Bush crime family. I can't stand him. Swig of water for the working man. Alibaba's finger says, when I say pro-war, I mean just enough to support the war machine to run at full bore. I hear you on that. And yeah, I mean, Bush and the weapons of mass destruction and all of that, and Donald Rumsfeld and Dick Cheney and no bid contracts for Halliburton. Because as I've said, I made a video not too long ago, like what people don't understand about like war is a multi-billion, probably trillion-dollar business. War is a legitimate mega business. And if we're not having war, then a lot of people are not making money. And that is another reason why Donald Trump is so hated, because he got us into no new wars. He created no new wars. And that drives these freaks crazy. So I remember when, the Iraq war was going on. I was just a retail worker. I was just a retail worker. And I was told about like, hey, you can go work for Halliburton and you can make like, I don't remember what it was. It was an ungodly amount of money. You can go over there overseas for a year and you can make like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the United States military protects you. And I'm like, so the military gets paid less than I would get paid, but they have to protect me because Halliburton has a no bid contract during war. So that when it's really started making sense is like, oh, so that's why we went to war. That's why war is such a big deal. There's business involved. There's contracts. There's contractors involved. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So, of course, that's another reason why they hate Donald Trump. That's another one of the many reasons why they hate Trump. And so war is a business, a massive one of, if not the biggest businesses. So this whole Ukraine, Russia, all that bullshit, this would not be happening if Donald Trump was our president. You understand that, right? Like all you fucking losers with your Ukraine flags in your bio, all you Ukraine flag flyers that hate Donald Trump. I love Ukraine. I support Ukraine. And what's going on with Russia invading Ukraine is so terrible. But I hate Donald Trump too. Like, you realize if Trump was president, then Ukraine wouldn't be at war with Russia, right? You realize that, right? You understand that. Oh, I mean, oh no, Donald Trump, he's the worst. He's the reason this happened. It's like, no, motherfucker. You don't get to sit there and pull the I support Ukraine, but I voted for Joe Biden flag. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. You clown, you absolute clown. But those are the types of people that the left wants. These stupid NPCs that they get the latest downloaded information and then they just repeat it. They don't even know how stupid they sound. Let's see. Amina Chain says 9/11 was when Normal died and it really went. And it never really went back. You're right about that. Normal did die. It did. Fantastic Mr. Knox says 9/11 not just united us, but the whole West. Yes. And of course, a tragic situation, and politicians and companies and corporations do exactly what they always do, which is take full advantage and then ruin it. And they 100% did on that one. Keck Lord Great. I still miss when we talked about movies and games. I know. And that's why, like, and when we were talking about the Fortnite stuff, and it's like, I know, like, I was making fun of Fortnite a year and a half ago, just like everybody else. Okay. And then they added no build to it. But for as much as I cover this shit, like, it's nice to have a few hundred people watching us play video games, disconnect a little bit from all the bullshit, and just, it brings me back to what made me want to create Geeks and Gamers in the first place. When I created Geeks and Gamers, it was 2011, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Halo Reach, Halo 3. Those were the days, you know that that was great. That was awesome. Then the Wii was that the Wii? The Wii had already been out. Yeah, the Wii came out in like 2009 or something like that. So 2009, I think. And so or was it 2006? Might have been early 2006. Either way, the Wii was a thing back then. Mario Kart Wii. I was still playing my GameCube. We still talked about movies without identity politics. It's a whole different world. And I want us to get back to that. We're a long way from that, but I think we can get there. But people like Ripa and others have to create a different, type of entertainment landscape. And people like Geeks and Gamers and Friday Night Tights and Nerdrotic, we're going to cover it and be the voice of the people out there and try to slowly change things. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a year, 5 years. It may take 10, 20 years, but it can happen. But it will take time. It will take time. 2006 is when it came out. Okay, 2006. And Jennifer Osei, MB, first ever super chat to the Snake Pit, $9.99. Thank you for the support. Appreciate that. Jennifer Douglas, 9/11 happened in the middle of the night, my time. We found out about it at work in the morning and everyone was shocked. It was one of those things that was hard to believe could happen, let alone did. You're right about that. Hayden for 10 says, for the new peeps, Jeremy doesn't drink. I drink a lot. I haven't said anything dumb tonight, but I probably will eventually. I love everyone here, even my drunk, but smart folks need to congregate. Thank you, Hayden. And yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't drink, never have, never will, but I am 100% okay if you do or whatever. Like, I'm an individualist. I've always said, like, I have my opinions, I have my stances, I have my takes. But I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to judge you for how you live your life. That's not my thing. I'll never have to tell you how to spend your money, and I'll never have to tell you how to spend your time or whatever. I might give you my advice or give you my take. But if you choose to say, that works for you, bro, don't work for me, then that's cool. Because that's how the real world should work. Hayden dropping a 50. 50 from Hayden. Thank you, Hayden. Let's see. Aunt Ryu, what's up? New Yorker here. Thank you for saying that, Jeremy. Hey, you're welcome, brother. Thank you. Nice Ryu profile picture. And that's your first super chat. Thank you. GM Stillhaven, the new member, says Fortnite, you should try Hunt Showdown. It's a cowboy horror looter shooter with strong PvP aspect. It's pain made manifest. I've heard of Hunt Showdown, so I definitely would like to check that one out. I have been told about that one, so you're not the first person that said that. Stuart Halverson, let's see, was at TSTC in Waco on 9/11. It's an old base repurposed. We were locked down with Secret Service in our dorms for days. Bush landed to get to Crawford. Holy shit. See, that just shows you the impacts it had, man. Unbelievable. Your angry Uncle Matt, please tell us, as someone is scamming people using his channel. I sent him an email. Thanks. If you're talking about the what is it? If you're talking about the Telegram stuff, all of us YouTubers have been dealing with this. We have tried to tell YouTube, this has been going on for months. We cannot keep up with it to save our lives. Like, I have banned so many of these accounts, whether it's Geeks and Gamers, D-Day Cobra, any of our channels. It is like, we cannot stop it. We've told YouTube about it. They don't seem to care. They'll remove dislikes for the White House, certainly, but they can't really seem to key in on this problem, and I don't know why. But yeah, if you guys are seeing, I have a check mark beside Geeks and Gamers and my D-Day Cobra channel, Sports Wars as well. We have verified check marks because all those channels are over 100,000 subscribers. I am not offering you all of these crazy prizes on Telegram. I'm not on Telegram. I don't have one. But yeah, you would think so, Nitrim. You would think YouTube would stop this with an easier filter, and we've tried to tell them more times than I can count. So we are aware of that. There's just not a lot we can do about it. We ban them when we see them, but they just keep reoccurring. They keep reoccurring. Swig of water for the working man. Now, I want to show you guys this really quick, okay? I want to show you guys this. I intentionally did not see this until Ryan showed me today on our political stream. We all remember the Jussie Smollett story, right? Well, the Nigerian brothers, yeah, they did a video, okay? They did a video, and they did a reenactment of the whole thing. They did a reenactment of the whole thing. This is one of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Stacy S says, I can't keep up with Hayden, but here you go. Thank you, Stacy S. I appreciate all of you guys and gals so much. So these are the brothers. These are the brothers. This is the white dudes in MAGA hats. This is who Jussie Smollett told us. This shit is so funny. These guys are so funny and so like, they're just, I would never imagine they would be caught up in some shit like this. But this happened. This is great. So here we go.
They took our beautiful bench. This is where we waited for Jussie to come before we attacked them. So we got here with 10 minutes to spare, and we had to plan our escape route to survey the land. His building is actually right here, right above the stairs.
Bro, there is no substitute for self-awareness. There just isn't. These guys are so self-aware. They're so well-spoken. They're so funny, and they're just owning it. Now, I clearly, like, you have to acknowledge, as likable as these guys are, you have to acknowledge that what they did is equally as bad as what Jussie Smollett did, because they played a part in this. Like, they got money and they portrayed a negative image about Trump supporters that was a flat out lie. Okay. All that is true. Everybody fucks up, makes mistakes. Some mistakes are worse than others. Okay. That's just life. As I said, I'm going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. So these guys, I kind of feel like I like these guys after seeing this. Here we go.
We're going to attack them at. We made sure we got there at 2 a.m. sharp. On the dot. On the dot. We had no phones because he did not want us to bring any phones. He said, so we don't lose them. I don't know if that's really the reason, but you can deduce your own reason. So 2 a.m., he was nowhere to be found. He was not there. So we were like, damn, what do? We didn't have no way of contacting him. He had no way of contacting us. So we waited here for about, what, 4 minutes? It was about 4 minutes, but it felt like forever. Because it was cold as balls. So I saw him out the corner of my eye, and I was like, okay.
This dude is on Fox, and he said it was cold as balls. I love these guys, man. These guys are fantastic.
Because it was cold as balls. So I saw him out the corner of my eye, and I was like, okay, that's him. Let's go. We gotta go get this Empire. Yeah, that's him. That's him. Is that him? That's that neck. That's that neck. Get that neck. Oh, he's moving fast. Come on, let's get him. Get that neck. Let's get him. As we crossed the street, we said, hey, to get his attention. Hey, Nick. Hey. He turned around, looked at us, and that's when we started yelling the famous slurs he wanted us to yell. Hey, aren't you that Empire? Hey, Empire fat Nick. It's MAGA country. Yeah. And then he said, what did you say to me? And then that's when I threw the first punch at him. I held the blow because I didn't want to hurt him, of course. So I made it look real, but I held it. Then we started tussling, moving around, and then I threw him to the ground. He wanted it to look like he fought back. That was very important for him because he said, hey, don't just beat my ass, make it look like I'm fighting back and whatnot. So we did that, and then I threw him to the ground. And after I threw him to the ground, he had no bruise. I wanted it to look more real. So then I threw him to the ground. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a noogie. So I went like this. Why did I do that? To give him a scar, to give him a mark, to make it look real, like he really did get his ass beat. After I did that, I fake kicked him. I don't know what he was doing. I wasn't paying attention. That's where I came around with the bleach, the infamous bleach in the hot sauce bottle, poured it on his shirt. Then I finally put the rope around his face. I did not put it around his neck. I just placed it on his face, and that's when we took off.
That's it. That's it. Dude, I love those guys. Those guys are great. Those guys are the best. So, hey, I totally forgive him. I totally forgive him. That's the way you do it, bro. You just have self-awareness. Those guys are funny. They clearly they wanted money. This idiot, just Jussie Smollett, this actor, which again, I didn't know who he was. They offered him money. And so they're like, all right, cool, man. For whatever it was, $3,000 or $4,000. Okay. Hey, all good. So I 100% I'm cool with those guys. I love those guys. They 100% need their own YouTube channel, man. Those guys are funny as hell. So that is just fantastic. Yeah, funny as hell. Love it. Really good stuff. All right, let's see here. Let me see. I'm looking. Which one of you? Okay, so do we have the Coffeezilla video? Okay, so we're gonna watch that Coffeezilla video here in a minute. We're gonna watch that. Let me catch up on a few super chats. Let's see. Magnum North says, "I feel you, Hayden. Sent too many drunk super chats to Gary. I think I pissed him off." You ain't gonna piss me off if you send me drunk super chats. So again, as someone that does not drink, I fully endorse drunk super chatting. Responsible though. All right. Don't fucking not pay bills to send me drunk super chats. But if you want to send a few, I'm not gonna get mad. Never gonna get mad at that. Eddie P becomes a new member. Thank you, Eddie P. Appreciate that. All right, smash the melee button. If you're here, if you're tuning in, this is the Snake Pit. This is the Cobra Cast IRL, the single best YouTube show with IRL in the name. And if Tim Pool has anything to say about that, I'll just tell him I'm a racing fan. Indie Racing League. What you gonna do? Cobra Cast Indie Racing League. That's what I know IRL as a racing fan. I know IRL as Indie Racing League. So if you're coming at me talking about whatever you got going on, I don't know what that is. I like Indie Racing League. So there you go. All right. Is Camelot here? What up, Camelot? Camelot's here, my boy Camelot. How you doing, man? Darius says, cold as balls should be a button or something. Yeah, dude, that was funny, man. I love those guys. Those guys are freaking great. IndyCar boys. That's right. That's right. Doing good. Good to see you here, bro. Camelot's awesome. Didn't you have Donut Operator on tonight? Was that tonight? Or was that tomorrow? Was that tonight or tomorrow? I know it was happening. So I have to check that out. I've been streaming. It's my 4th stream today. So yes, sir, it was tonight. Hell yeah, man. I bet that's awesome. Swig of water for the working man. We got to get Camelot on Tuesday night's main event. I know we're going to get him on Cobra Cast too, but I think he'd be good on Tuesday night's main event. Tuesday night's main event has it's going on the same path as Friday Night Tights. Like the numbers are huge. The memes, it's the same path as Friday Night Tights. Tuesday night's main event is growing big time. So I think we have to make that happen. So I'll be in contact, Camelot. I'll be in contact. All right, we've got this Coffeezilla video that you guys voted for me to watch. So this is only an 8-minute video, and I think this is going to give some insight into this whole banking situation. Unfortunately, this is, kind of what they want us to focus on this, but at the same time, I do think it's a serious issue. This video has 2.5 million views in 2 days. Coffeezilla is a fantastic investigative YouTuber. If you're not familiar with Coffeezilla, please drop links to his channel, guys. I want him to get credit for this because the dude's a big deal and he's doing really good. So right here. So we're going to watch this video from Coffeezilla, and maybe this will give us some more insight, give me some more insight into all of this. So here we go.
2 of the largest bank failures in history happened this week. But before we talk about why, I have a question. Why is Jim Cramer so good at being so bad at his job?
Jim Cramer is a terrible. How do you fail as bad as Jim Cramer and keep your job? So I don't know what he did here, but
Cramer's so good at being so bad at his job. Just months before they both collapsed, he said this.
These are never, ever talked about. Why? Because it's too boring? I like to make money. Tory is good. Watch out for Signature Bank. That's my fave. SVB Financial, don't you want? This company's a merchant bank with a deposit base that Wall Street has been mistakenly concerned about. This morning, we witnessed the second largest bank failure in American history, which naturally created a wave of fear as the day went on. Hence the Dow ultimately losing 345 points, S&P falling 1.45%, and the NASDAQ tumbling 1.76%.
Now, I have to admit, he has a way with sound effects. Now I understand why they call it mad money. But there is one thing Jim Cramer isn't wrong about, which I know is shocking. Fear is in the air, and many are worrying, is my bank safe? So today I thought
Fear is definitely in the air. And fear is a powerful, powerful tool, a very powerful tool. And when you start talking about people's money, that is about as dangerous as it gets. And that's why with the media pushing this, that's why I'm so skeptical of a lot of this. So, but let's continue.
break it all down, the recent collapses, why the government has announced a special bailout, why some people are happy with it and others are mad, and of course, what's next. Let's start with the facts. 3 major banks in the United States have failed in a short period of time: Silvergate, Signature Bank, and Silicon Valley Bank. Now, Silvergate was the smallest with about $11 billion in assets. Signature was like the mid-sized one, and Silicon Valley Bank was the largest. Now, Silvergate and Signature Bank were well known in the crypto space, while Silicon Valley Bank was massive in the tech startup world. However, despite their differences, these banks failed for similar reasons at a high level, which is this: they all experienced a run on the banks when too many people demand too much money too fast, and the banks don't have cash on hand. Now, I want to make something clear. It would be easy to draw the comparison to the crypto crash in 2022 when several crypto companies like FTX collapsed, but there's an important difference. Companies like FTX were insolvent. When there was a run on their banks, they had no money to give. Whereas the banks we're talking about were illiquid, meaning they had the money, but when they had the bank run, some of it was locked up in long-term assets like bonds. Now, to be clear, these are not the same things at all. But things can get a little fun.
You're right about that, JD Kirby. Woke banks. Because from what I understand, now I think we've had more banking failures since this video was uploaded by Coffeezilla, but a lot of these banks, they had the diversity representation initiatives. They had diversity councils. They had diversity budgets. They had hired people for these diversity positions. That is a fact. So that is 100%. And again, as I've talked about, it's bigger than... Yes, they've given $100 million to BLM. That's why I keep saying, like, don't dismiss the power of the entertainment world and what's going on with video games, movies, comics, and geek culture, because that is how you infect the greater, kind of world here, is by getting into the culture of it. And that's why the wokeness has been there, but it's not isolated to Star Wars movies or Marvel movies or Marvel comics. That's not the case. And anybody dismissing that doesn't seem to understand that there's far more implications. Let's continue.
Fuzzy in the details. For example, when a bank run happens, what can start as a liquidity problem can become an insolvency problem if the bank has to sell what they have for cash. And let me explain. One of the safest investments is considered to be treasury bonds. Your grandparents probably invest in it. Banks invest in them, both for the same reason. They provide a stable rate of return. So say you're Signature Bank, right? You've got billions of dollars in customer assets. Where do you put it? Well, into treasury bonds, which let's say earn you 1% a year. You keep some cash on hand for withdrawals, but you figure, look, if I need to sell these, I can sell my bonds, right? But what happens if interest rates rise really quickly? Well, suddenly you have this 5-year bond you bought a year ago, which gives you 1% a year. But now the government is selling the same 5-year bond and offering 5%. Because of that, now your bond's value on the open market drops. It's no longer even worth what you paid for it because it's giving less interest than other bonds. And so if you try to sell that, well, now you lose money. Now, to be clear, if you held the bond to maturity, well, you would still make that 1% and not lose anything. But when depositors are asking for cash, it's simply not an option to hold on. Now, I know that seems complicated, but the essence of it is this. Banks were forced to sell long-term assets that they didn't want to sell, like bonds, and they took losses because of these bank runs. Because of that, what started as a liquidity crisis became an insolvency crisis, and that's why they got shut down, because they weren't going to be able to service all those withdrawals. So now what, right? Doesn't the government guarantee bank deposits? Why are we even talking about this? Well, they kind of do. The FDIC insures up to 200.
So are we thinking, again, so I've always said I'm 50-50 on Coffeezilla. So for those that are asking, this is the person talking is Coffeezilla. He's a YouTuber, an investigative YouTuber. And I said I'm 50-50 on him because it feels like he feels like an extension of mainstream talking points a lot of times for me. So I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I can also step back and realize he does good work in certain aspects of it. But I'm not the biggest fan. Much like the same reasons I'm not a big fan of Tim Pool. So I feel that, he's kind of an extension of what mainstream talking points want to be, but he comes at it from a more credible standpoint from the internet. That's what it feels like to me. You know what I mean? Instead of just cutting through the bullshit and just telling you, hey, this is all bigger and more. This isn't a coincidence. This isn't the coincidence you think it is. This is something going on, and there's a reason why this is happening, and there's a goal in mind. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. But regardless of that, these are things I already know about him watching it. But I do still feel there's good information to gather from his videos. But you got to understand where I think he's coming from. We'll continue.
Withdrawals. So now what, right? Doesn't the government guarantee bank deposits? Why are we even talking about this? Well, they kind of do. The FDIC insures up to $250,000 per account. However, at places like Silicon Valley Bank, they had a lot of accounts with a lot more than that. Because as we spoke of, they hosted a lot of venture capital startups that might have had anywhere from $10 to $50 million in there. And suddenly that company, which was healthy yesterday, now can't get access to that money and can't meet payroll because their bank had failed. And this triggered a huge response from many in Silicon Valley to call for depositors to have their money guaranteed, with people like Jason Calacanis saying, you should be absolutely terrified right now. That is the proper reaction to a bank run and contagion. Guarantee all deposits up to $10 million or this will spiral into chaos.
Well, the reason they want people terrified, Joe Biden's not going to do anything about this, and the taxpayers ultimately will have to take care of this, is what I assume will happen. But they're not going to, obviously they don't want to call it a bailout. They're going to stay as far away from that word as humanly possible, as always. You know what I mean? And so that's clear as day to me that that's what we're working towards. But don't forget, and as Hayden was saying earlier, this is not just one thing, dude. We're talking about multi-fronts right now. We're talking about Ukraine. We're talking about trying to destroy Donald Trump. Now this bank stuff is out there. January 6th is blown up in their face. COVID's going to come back, or some type of variant of COVID. That will happen. That's all going to happen. How the fuck do we not see this? Like, how do we buy into this? You can't buy into this bullshit. You can't let them do this again. Don't let this happen. Here we go.
And comments like this sparked a huge debate on whether the government should or would get involved. Ultimately, with the answer coming on Sunday when the U.S. Treasury said this, quote, depositors will have access to all of their money. And there you have it. The U.S. government is stepping in to save not only Silicon Valley Bank, but also Signature Bank as well.
That is true, Lost Tales. To be fair, Jimmy, you're surrounded by a lot of normies, and YouTube is really a place for normies. I 100% understand. And that's why I know how important channels like mine and others like Gary's and, Ryan's and Quartering and Ripa, so many people out there, because people have to be educated on what's going on.
They did this citing a systemic risk exception, which really boils down to a single idea. Please don't panic, guys. Please don't take out your money. Ultimately, the U.S. government doesn't want you worried about your bank deposits. However, not everyone saw this as a win. Many were quick.
Yes, they do.
To point out that, once again, the government only seems to step in to help a certain type of person. Quote, Mark Cuban, bail out Silicon Valley Bank tonight. Feds, approved. Goldman Sachs needs $824 billion. Approved. JP Morgan Chase needs $416 billion. Approved. Average Joe, my wife has cancer. Can we get Medicare? We're broke. Now, I do have to tell you that those in favor of the Fed's actions will tell you that this is an unfair characterization, that it's not the super rich getting bailed out. They'll point out that this isn't a traditional bailout at all because it only applies to the depositors and that executives and shareholders will get nothing. And that sounds good, except for the fact that some executives and shareholders in Silicon Valley Bank had already cashed out, with Greg Becker, the CEO, selling $3.6 million worth of his shares right before their collapse. And this gets even worse when you consider that Greg Becker was one of the people who lobbied to deregulate his own bank. According to Heather Landy of Quartz, quote, the ability of these banks to fly under the radar in the U.S. was no accident. Greg Becker, SVB's CEO, lobbied U.S. officials several years ago to raise the asset threshold at which banks would be considered systemically important. So let's get this straight. They faced less regulatory scrutiny because they weren't systemically important, according to them, but when everything goes wrong, they're systemically risky and must be bailed out. It's a classic case of wanting it both ways. Now, again, this isn't the same as the full bailouts we saw in 2008. And regardless of whether you land on whether there should have been or should not have been a bailout, the idea that systemically risky banks should get special treatment and regular banks, I guess, don't, sends a pretty clear signal. If you're rich, you should move your money into banks that are too big to fail. Otherwise, you run a systemic risk of ending up on Jim Cramer, feeling like this.
Well,
Silicon Valley Bank collapses, and
I'm sure Patrick Bet David has a lot of good stuff to say about it too. I haven't heard what he's had to say, but there's a lot in there with Coffeezilla, and like I said, I think he plays it very safe, that's not inherently a bad thing to play it safe and play it is right down the middle as possible. It's not inherently a bad thing, but dude, I just think is this the COVID? Is this, like, I've been asking this question for a while, and I've been saying that it was going to be the Ukraine-Russia war. What's going to be the COVID for 2024? What's going to be the COVID? That's my question. Is this banking situation going to be the COVID? Is it going to be the war in Ukraine? Are they going to come up with another sickness? There's going to be something. There's going to be something. We're going to have another, yes, gamer word, something race related. There's going to be another George Floyd situation. You notice how there's not a big amount of racism claims right now. There's not a lot of police brutality claims. You know when those are going to start? You know when those are going to pick back up? Right around election time. As always, what is it? The Google trends for Black Lives Matter and all of that. The Google trends pick up every election year. Racism, cops are shooting black people all around election time. Notice how it doesn't get talked about when there's no election, though. Like, these are the things you got to start watching out for. These are the things you got to start watching out for. And this is the thing that it drives me insane that we continue to find ourselves watching them do this right in front of our faces. Right in front of our faces. With nothing. No kickback. No, like, why do the Democrats act like they have nothing to lose? Why do they act and behave like they have nothing to lose, like they don't have anything to worry about? You have to ask yourself the question, why do they act like this? Why do they think it's okay to have Joe Biden in office? Why do you think it's okay to have Kamala Harris as a vice president? Because they don't fear anything. They don't actually fear the people. They don't fear an election. They don't feel like, remember when Trump went to Ohio and people were like, he's just doing this to, pander for votes or whatever. That's what a fucking politician is supposed to do. A person is working for the people is supposed to show that he cares for the people. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. Yes, you're supposed to go and put yourself in the real world and give people hope and inspire them and make them feel good. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what Biden's supposed to be doing. That's what a person that is supposed to be leading this country should be doing. But people want to criticize. He did it for a photo op. The fuck is wrong with you? How many times have we heard these freaks say Trump wasn't presidential enough? And then the moment he does something presidential, well, he's just doing it to pander. It's like, Jesus Christ, you said he's not doing it. You say he's not presidential enough, and then he does the presidential thing, and then you complain because he's doing the presidential thing. There's no winning with these freaks. None. I saw Berserker says, hey, old man, just wondering when you're going to get Ryan and Gary on here so we can call this Cobra Cast with 3 grumpy old men. We had Ryan and Gary on here after Friday Night Tights last week. Yes, me, Ryan, and Gary were here on Cobra Cast. And we're going to start seeing Gary on here occasionally, probably, and Tuesday night's main event. So that's going to be awesome. Alec Baldwin's finger. I got yours with a highlight of that one. And Hayden, Steve Forbes says, yes, Forbes Mac. Steve Forbes, yes, Forbes Mac. Thinks several banks may fall. Glenn Beck says this may be a plan to kill all but 4 banks. Beck may be right, to be honest. That sounds very believable. I would like to see this interview with Steve Moore. I'm not going to watch it here, but I may have to check that one out. GM Steelhaven, SVC didn't have a risk officer, too busy with pride. Magnum Norris says, as a patron, I put Tuesday night's main event, the real BBC, and FNT on the same level of essential viewing. Just give it more time and success will be overwhelming. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me because I'm part of, as much as like Friday Night Tights is a Geeks and Gamers Nerdrotic show, but it's ultimately Nerdrotic show. It's Gary's show. I mean, yes, it's Geeks and Gamers. Our fingerprints are all over it. But and look, I mean, I brought recommended X-Ray Girl to be the producer. Obviously, brought Ryan on. Odin was instrumental in the beginning of that. I pushed to get Disparu on there. So it's got Geeks and Gamers fingerprints all on it, but it's Gary's, it's a Nerdrotic show. And Gary won't say that. Gary's like, it's all of our shows. And he's right. It's all of our shows, but it's housed on Nerdrotic's channel, which Gary's my bro. But like seeing Tuesday night's main event really kind of find its footing in the last couple of months has been wonderful. And it's been really nice. And I feel like people on the team really feel good about that. And so seeing that show grow, seeing the super chats and the memes and the conversations and it's so funny. So Tuesday night's main event has just turned into be so funny, so it's been great. It's been great. Let me see where we at. We got Keck Lord Gray. Are you on Tim's payroll? You mentioned Tim Pool every 17 minutes, 17 seconds. Stop with the Tim Pool BS. No, this entire show was created because of Tim Pool. I'm going to keep mentioning Tim Pool. Because this is the best show with the IRL on it on YouTube. So why would I stop mentioning Tim Pool? But no, I don't have I wish I was on Tim's payroll, but I'm not. Swig of water for the working man. Let me see. Corner Pub Gamer says, I hate typos. Why you hate typos? What typos? What happened? So I want to show you guys this really quick too. Keenan says I was watching Chris's Twitch stream earlier that I missed. Yeah, she did a great job. We had a good stream. So I am gonna start pushing this more. So I want to show you guys a couple of posts over in locals right now. So this is the D-Day Cobra locals. And we've got over 100 members there, but Bruce has become a supporter. Bruce is awesome. And he says, hey, Jeremy, I mentioned this in Ryan's locals as well. Wanted to give you some feedback as someone who greatly enjoys and appreciates all the content Geeks and Gamers puts out. The new daily show is fantastic. The one thing I would say, though, is you and Ryan might want to consider just doing the political stream on Wednesday. I'd hate to see either of you get burnt out even more overloaded than you already are. If you still wanted the Daily Show to remain, go on Wednesday. Maybe Rolo could run it along with another member. It's good feedback because I was extremely tired today. I was really tired. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me blow that up. There's Saltysaurus Rex, and there's Bruce. There's Bruce. Bruce took this picture of me. That was at the meetup. In Orlando. Bruce took that picture of me. So we're going to start pushing the locals and the Discord. That's kind of and one of the things that I did with Geeks and Gamers, and I don't regret it, but I did learn from it, is I have so many different places that the Geeks and Gamers fan base, or whatever you want to call it, community is, whether it's on the website or Discord or Twitter or here. Like, I've spread it out so much that it's hard to get a grasp on who's where, and it's hard to find that central base. So with the Snake Pit, with Cobra Cast, like, it's going to be just locals and Discord. That's all I'm doing with that. And the Discord is within the Geeks and Gamers Discord. So it's still within the Geeks and Gamers, kind of ecosphere of Discord. So I don't want to spread things out too much. I don't want to make it to where it's hard to find where the kind of community element is. So I've learned from that a little bit, but Geeks and Gamers is a big, big thing. This is a more central focused thing around me and you guys. So just wanted to put that out there. There's so many social media apps, and I know that's a big, big challenge for fans of Geeks and Gamers to kind of go like, where do I go? Where do we go to talk to the team or to the community? I get that. I do get that a lot, and totally understand. Let's see. So this is a good question. Why not do games other than Mario Kart and Fortnite? Does Mario Kart have to be every week? So the reason is that's because the numbers told us that. So Mario Kart originally was just a Twitch thing. And then we moved it to the secondary channel for Geeks and Gamers. But they kept doing so good that I decided to move it to the main channel because people started responding. And so when you pull over 1,500 to 2,000 people watching play video games, that's a big number for us. And so people really, really love the Mario Kart stream. So the numbers and the community told us, you guys can keep doing this. With Fortnite, that's another one. That was just a Geeks and Gamers play channel that we were doing Fortnite. Those Fortnite streams, we played Among Us. We played Call of Duty. We used to do a Call of Duty Wednesdays stream. We've played a lot of different games. We've played Mario Party. We tried to play Smash Bros. The fucking internet's terrible on that game. But people rallied around the Fortnite games. So the numbers were really good on play. So I decided to move it up to the main channel. So very valid questions, but ultimately these games have been elevated because the community responded positively to them. So it wasn't a decision I made. We pushed Call of Duty really hard for a while. We were trying to play Titanfall until the game died. So there's been some other ones. Yes, I know Lost Tales, Titanfall 2. I miss it so much. I want Titanfall 2 back, but it is what it is. Let's see. Oh, we had a 20, and I'll get to that one in a minute. The signature and SVB turnout to be full of Democratic mega donors. On signature board of directors, all but one were donors and only one financial expert. Hang on, I got to sneeze. Didn't want that one caught on camera. Okay. Did the sneeze. But yes, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I had to get through that one really quick so I could sneeze. I got there too. I read it and I felt the sneeze coming. But thank you, Fatty Ludus. Whew, that was close. I didn't want to get memed on the Legion of Memers for that one. But thank you. I appreciate that. And we got a 20. Let's see. The AA Ron, I got you. You are Rob Diedrich 2.0. That's actually not a bad comparison. I'm okay with that. You like Tom McDonald's music? I've heard a few of his songs. I respect the hell out of Tom McDonald for sure. I respect him. I've liked the few songs I've heard of his, but I can't say I've listened to his whole catalog or anything, but I've definitely liked what I've heard for sure. And I love these based as hell. I see you guys talking about Titanfall's the GOAT, and Titanfall is the GOAT. We know that. Okay, we know that. So Titanfall is one of the greatest games ever made. It's just sad. It's just sad that it's no longer really playable. Bird Up says, I know you guys like to learn to lean in on Mario Kart and Fortnite, but would you stream retro games? I think that would be cool. I mean, listen, I will do whatever the audience likes. So as I've said, if I could just play a video game, random video game, and 1,500 people are watching that, I would do it. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but I'm willing to try. But I think it'd be more like 200 or 300 would watch. And it's not to say that the 200 or 300 are insignificant, but ultimately you want to play what what people really are enjoying. And so the higher your numbers, the more people are enjoying it. But it's not to say we can't do smaller scale stuff for sure. That's why I like the vlogs, that we did, like the McDonald's vlog. We did those on the Geeks and Gamers Clips channel, and we did those and they were really successful. And what that did is it showed me, like, those were really good. People responded to the vlogs. So we're going to do more vlogs. And I've decided to move the vlogs up to the main channel now. So they're on the main channel. I don't know how the algorithm is going to be with that. So I'm still trying to figure that out because we still cover all of our news and stuff like that. But people responded very positively. The Geeks and Gamers Clips channel, of all of those, the vlogs were the most successful videos on that channel. So that told me the audience liked it. I'm going to give you more of what you're responding to. And so yeah, that's really all I do. I listen to the audience to the best of my ability because we work for you. I work for you. Let's see. Wasn't Geeks and Gamers first with Critical Role? No, not that I know of. I don't even know what you're talking about on that one. Let me see. What are you talking about with Critical Role? Let's see. Let's see. Like, what is Critical Role? I've heard of it, but like role-playing game or something? I'm trying to look and see. Yes, that's it right there. That's it. So it wasn't us. It was a D&D stream. No. So it wasn't us. So we do have a tabletop channel. It's called Geeks and Gamers Tabletop, but that's a Rude Eyes channel. He runs that channel. I don't know nothing about D&D. I've never been into it. But it definitely wasn't us. But I'm really proud of our tabletop channel, and Rude Eyes doing a great job over there. He's done a fantastic job, and I'm very happy with it. I don't know that world though, but I made the decision to turn that channel over to him when he approached us about it, and he's done a fantastic job. UF Gator, member for 8 months. Thank you. Rogue Thought. Why are you only mentioning oh, I got that one. Is that the second time you sent that one? Yeah. Okay. Why are you only mentioning Temple every 17 minutes, 17 seconds? The egocentric prick needs to be called out more often. Why aren't you? Okay. Why are you only doing it? There you go. And then Samsung 46 equals 13 is a banger. Yeah. So, I mean, the Tim Pool stuff is just a funny kind of meme at this point. As I've said, this show was created as a meme, and that's what we'll continue to do, is just meme, laugh at stuff, but also call things out and be serious about it. Because that's important. Hailstorm, I think. So who do we think tonight? Who's Beard of Shame tonight? Do we think should Jussie Smollett get it? Should it be Jussie Smollett? I think Smollett should get the Beard of Shame tonight. What are you guys thinking? That would probably be a really good one. The guy who gave it to himself, I don't know if he deserves that much praise, but I think Jussie Smollett. Drew Barrymore. Oh, Drew Barrymore is good. Drew Barrymore. Did you guys see that clip of Drew Barrymore? You know how bad that was? All right. I'm seeing a lot of Drew Barrymore, and all right, so we'll do Drew Barrymore or Jussie Smollett. Jussie, let's see. Smollett. All right. Which one? You guys vote. You guys decide. All right, Hailstorm, there's your votes right there. It's between Barrymore and Jussie Smollett. Oh, you don't know what she did? Oh my gosh, man. I'm not gonna play that crap again, but the Dylan Mulvaney dude, she had it or whatever just whatever the fuck he wants to be called. She had him on her show, and she basically got down on her knees and hugged him and told him that all of the horrible things that he's going through is so sad, and oh, we just have to rally around you, and all of the hate that you're facing is so bad. It's just fucking terrible. It's really bad. It's really bad. My personal vote might be her because of that. It's Jussie Smollett though, man. You know, but Drew Barrymore is more recent. It looks like Drew Barrymore's winning big time. Holy crap. Drew Barrymore is winning in a runaway. So there you go. I guess I'll show you guys. So this is what we're talking about. This is so fucking cringe to watch. I really don't even want to watch this shit again, but this is the clown world that we're living in. So I guess, unfortunately, we're going to have to watch it because she's getting beer to shame, it looks like. Ugh.
Let me ask you about the negativity. How have you dealt with it? And what's an approach you take? What's your self-talk? What do you filter?
Yes.
How do you...
I still read the comments, but there is so much hatred directed at the trans community right now. It's everywhere. And I think the greatest weapon that I can contribute is trans joy and comedy and talking about hard, subjects and really intricate moments of a transition, and try to let everybody in to see that, I'm not a monster. I'm not somebody that, is trying to do anything but be myself and be happy. Love ya.
Thank you, everybody, for that support. How do you...
It physically hurts to listen to this. It physically hurts. This physically hurts to listen to this. I don't want it.
You stay on your own path. Where do you draw boundaries? Where do you find the strength to keep being the joy?
No. Well, I think having my chosen family and the people that I love to take care of me. But I also think there's something just about making sure that you don't put something out there before you're ready, and really just surrounding yourself with good people. It's interesting because I look at someone like you, and I can't imagine anybody disliking you.
Oh, please. Do you want to know, ironically, who dislikes me the most sometimes?
Who?
Myself.
Oh, me too. Oh. But I guess,
I can't do it. That's not even halfway. Or that's right at, I guess that's close to halfway. I can't do this anymore. I cannot. I'm Hailstorm, make it happen. Hailstorm, make it happen. It's so bad. It's so bad. I haven't seen something that cringe since, like, do you guys remember the Kirk Herbstreit deal? You remember Kirk Herbstreit? You remember how cringe that one was? Like, that was, honestly, I still think Herbstreit's is worse. Kirk Herbstreit. Like, Kirk Herbstreit's still probably the worst thing I've ever seen. All right, I'm going to show you. We're going to watch Kirk Herbstreit. We're going to watch Herbstreit. Herbstreit, this is going to, good God, guys, this is the cringe. This might be cringier than Drew Barrymore. This might be cringier than Drew Barrymore, okay?
I think.
So they're talking about, this is all George Floyd. This is all after the George Floyd thing. All right, this is so bad. This is so bad.
The black community is hurting. If you've listened and the word empathy and compassion over these last 4 months, how do you listen to these stories and not feel pain and not want to help? You know what I mean? It's like wearing a hoodie and putting your hands at 10 and 2. Oh God, I better look out because I'm wearing Nike gear. Like what? What are we talking about? And so you can't relate to that if you're white, but you can listen and you can try to help because this is not okay. It's just not.
It's not.
And we got to do better, man. We got to like lock arm in arm and be together in a football locker room. That stuff is gone. Those barriers are gone. And, we got to do better.
Oh man. Good Lord. What the hell? Just pathetic on every single level. There's only one thing to play for that one. Kirk Herbstreit, I got news for you.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women, sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Oh man. Oh my God, man. I did have Hailstorm made an edited version of that one a while back. This is the one Hailstorm made.
In San Francisco, it's all about, well, you know, gay bathhouses and everybody. It's all about round the clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women, sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Shout out to J. Hailstorm. Oh man. That's so good. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. Memes are what makes the internet go round. We need more memes. We got to have them. They're necessary. And that's what this show was built on, is memes, and we're gonna keep bringing those memes. So all right, Hailstorm, are you working on it right now as we currently speak? The chat needs to know. Okay, no problem. No problem. Just checking. All right, do we have any super chats? Let me see. Oh, we got Krista Joe says Beard of Shame for Drew Barrymore and Dylan Mulvaney. I don't know if he'll be able to do the Dylan one, but we'll definitely get it for Drew. Myoclonic Jerk says white can't relate. Tell that to Tony Timpa. Damn right. Like, you know, I'm so just I don't know if a lot of people understand that story, but since we got a few minutes here before we get the Beard of Shame, let me tell you a story about a man named Tony Timpa. Okay? Let me tell you a story about a man named Tony Timpa. Now, you would have known Tony Timpa's name if there was a political narrative to be built around his death, but unfortunately there was not. There was not. Let me find a good story, because it's hard to tell which one of these stories are going to be telling you the right version of it, you know, the truth. Let's see. Gotta find it. So Tony Temple was a white man that was killed by the police. Here's a Reddit post. Oof, I can't show the video. Essentially, though, it's mentally ill Tony Temple. They called Dallas police for help. Police officer kneeled on his back for 14 minutes and laughed. His breathing or feel for a pulse wasn't checked because the POs assumed he was sleeping. Tony died and the cop got promoted in 2022. I'll share it to you what this is. Now, why were we never told about this story? This is it on Reddit right here. Mentally ill Tony Temple called the Dallas PD for help. Police officer kneeled on his back for 14 minutes and laughed. His breathing or feel for a pulse wasn't checked because POs assumed he was sleeping. Tony died and the cop got promoted in 2022. Now, why didn't you hear about that? Why didn't you hear about this? Why were we not told about this national story? Why wasn't this made to a national story? Why wasn't LeBron James kneeling for the national anthem in the name of Tony Temple? Why was that not talked about? It wasn't talked about because your race is only as good as the political narrative that can be built around it. So all of these clowns that are telling you about George Floyd and all these other scenarios, just because they don't have the information, because they don't want to do the research. They simply just want to be fed bullshit from the media whenever it's an election year so they can be fake outraged over whatever the media wants them to be outraged for. If Tony Temple was a black man, that would have been a national story. We would have heard about this all over the country, all over the world. There would have been monuments built in Tony Temple's name. There would have been everything. But because he was white, it's not even a big deal. No one seems to care about it. And he's not just the only one, by the way. That's just a pretty egregious situation that happened, and it's a horrible situation, clearly. And it is what it is. I mean, I don't know the details of what led up to it, but it doesn't really matter, because all that matters is if he was black, they would have put this everywhere, because politicians, mainstream media would have built a narrative around it, because the truth doesn't matter. The truth never matters. Only the narrative. Only the narrative. That's all that really matters. And it's sad, man. It's sad. So, let me see. Where are we at? What is that? This video that Hailstorm, this video that you sent me of Liberal Hive Mind, do I play it at that timestamp? Rumble Rants. Oh, Rumble Rants. We got him. I'm sorry. JM the Elite Fan. I agree that the gaming streams are a good break from the grind. Suggestion: would you or the whole crew be interested in streaming Tears of the Kingdom as a chill stream on release or shortly after? That is a damn great question, and I 100% would love to do that. Love to do that. So that's a really good, that's a good recommendation, JM the Elite Fan. Ran out of room on the other message, but could stream multiple views on multiple channels like y'all do for Fortnite, Mario Kart, and chill and talk to the whole crew. Appreciate you, Jeremy. That's a fantastic idea. It's a fantastic idea. And then all of the banking problems can lead to one source, Woodrow Wilson creating the Federal Reserve and taking us off the gold standard. This shit's been in the works for a century and perhaps far longer. Thank you, JM the Elite Fan. I love that idea. I love that idea. I think that's a really good idea. And so, yes, we are live over on Rumble, D-Day Cobra on Rumble. So give us a follow over there if you have not yet. And so let's see. 120 seconds play from there. Oh, from a minute 20. It's about a minute 20. Okay. So right here. Let's watch this Liberal Hive Mind video really quick. Okay, here we go.
Biden is the most progressive Democrat in the history of Democrats. At least that seems to be Joe Biden's new shtick, that he was with all this woke stuff before any of these college kids. At least that seems to be the image that he tries to portray whenever being interviewed by any young Democrat. He seems to adopt this persona that he's a woke trailblazer. Take a look at what he said recently.
You codified support for same-sex marriage and interracial marriages like ours. I'm curious what your evolution was like on marriage equality and what the federal government might be able to do to protect LGBTQ Americans, especially trans kids who are dealing with all these regressive state laws that are popping up right now.
I can remember exactly where my epiphany was.
Okay.
Hadn't thought much about it, to tell you the truth. And I was a senior in high school, and my dad was dropping me off. I remember about to get out of the car, and I looked to my right, and two well-dressed men in suits kissed each other. I mean, they gave each other a kiss. And then one looked like he was heading to the DuPont building, and one looked like he headed to the Hercules Corporation building. And I'll never forget, I turned and looked at my dad. He said, Joey, it's simple. They love each other. It's simple. No, I'm not joking. It's simple. They love each other.
Bullshit. This is not true.
It's never
this is
been,
not true.
This
is not true. This is not true.
It's just that simple. It doesn't matter whether it's same sex or a heterosexual couple. You should be able to be married. What is the problem?
Joe Biden is actually trying to make the claim that he was a trailblazer in the Democrat establishment when it came to gay marriage. You know,
we've heard him talk about how gay marriage was not even it shouldn't even be a thing. This is a lying piece of shit.
Those other bigoted politicians that came before him, like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman. So I take umbrage at anyone who might suggest that those of us who worry about amending the Constitution are less committed to the sanctity of marriage or to the fundamental bedrock principle that it exists between a man and a woman going back into the mists of history as one of the foundational institutions of history and humanity and civilization.
You've said that your religious faith dictates that marriage should be between a man and a woman. Would you elaborate on that?
Well, what I believe is that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Why? What in your religious faith calls you to be against gay marriage?
What I believe in my faith is that a man and a woman, when they get married, are performing something before God, and it's not simply the two persons who are meeting.
Being the case, Mr. Obama, that being the case, if something is not a choice, if something is innate, then why isn't it a civil right? And why isn't your support of civil unions as opposed to marriage, does that amount to separate but equal?
No, I think there are a whole host of things that are civil rights. And then there are other things, such as traditional marriage, that I think express a community's concern and regard for a particular institution.
So marriage is not a civil right as far as you're concerned?
I don't think marriage is a civil right.
What a bunch of establishment corporate Democrat bigots. Joe Biden is not like that. No, of course, Joe Biden has never been like that. Joe Biden is a trailblazer. Well, not exactly. Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe Biden. Remember, guys, Joe Biden, when he was a young boy, he saw two men well-dressed kissing, and he looked at his dad. He said, Joey is simple. They love each other. Remember, so Joe Biden from a young age has been all about the pro-gay marriage. According to Joe Biden,
claims that he's been progressive since before even the age of 20 years old, and he's always held the same beliefs. Here's Joe Biden maybe 10 or 15 years ago.
You know, think about this. The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
The guy is a freaking liar. And he always comes up with these ridiculous stories. You know, I was riding in the car with my dad and I saw two dudes starting to kiss. And my dad took me aside and told me, Joe, they love each other. Yeah, I'm going to go with that never happened. And I'm willing to bet $10,000 that never happened. Joe always has this elaborate story that seems ripped from some random soap opera TV show that he watched on cable once. He takes it and he writes it into his own life story. And he's always, every single time, just full of crap. Joe Biden has explicitly been anti-gay marriage the large majority of his political career. His supposed view on the issue only really shifted with the Democrat Party consensus shifting, I think roughly halfway or possibly towards the end of Obama's time in office. And the most ridiculous part here is that all of this stuff is documented. I don't understand how...
It's all documented. All documented. That's Liberal Hive Mind. It's a great YouTube channel. So if you guys have not checked out Liberal Hive Mind, you totally should do that. He's fantastic. So definitely go check him out. And I'm sure Mods will drop links for Liberal Hive Mind. Great channel. All right. So we're about to get ready to show you tonight's Beard of Shame, ladies and gentlemen. The most prestigious award in the history of YouTube is here. This is one of the most anticipated moments of all of YouTube. Every single day, people are like, who's going to get Beard of Shame? Who's going to get Beard of Shame? Who's going to get Beard of Shame? Cobra Cast IRL has the Beard of Shame for you. Unlike other shows with IRL in the name, we have a Beard of Shame every single night, unless I get too tired and forget. But let me catch up super chats before we do this. We have Berserker says, just want to thank you for showing us the cringiest crap I've ever seen, old man. Thank you. Johnny Witzkis, do you have a chance to check out Heavy Duty Country on Can They Take Our Guns on your free time? Yeah, I can check that out, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're going to get to the Beard of Shame. This is going to be an important moment right here. Okay. And you guys know how important it is. And let me make sure we got nothing on Rumble Rants really quick. All right, we're caught up on Rumble. So the anticipation is building. The moment is here. And don't forget to check out the Geeks and Gamers Daily Show early tomorrow morning, because that show's really doing well, and I'm really proud of it. So I really appreciate all of you guys. So thank you for all the love tonight and all the super chats. I'm going to say goodbye again, so don't worry. But the Beard of Shame is here, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll, please. Jay Hailstorm, we need a drum roll. We need to figure one out. Drum roll, please, for tonight's Beard of Shame. Here we go.
Yeah. Fuck you. Heartfelt.
And he got both of them. Nice job, Hailstorm. You got both of them. Good job, my friend. How you doing, man?
I'm doing.
You got both of them. Shout out to Jay Hailstorm on that one. So we're gonna make sure you guys like the video. And we really appreciate it. Once again, Cobra Cast coming to a close. Here's the full crew right here. We got Hollywood Scholar. We got Eric K in the back. What's up, guys?
Not too much. Having a good time.
Yep.
Howdy.
Appreciate you guys. So there is Dylan and Drew Barrymore. And there you have it. So another episode of Cobra Cast IRL is in the books. We'll see you tomorrow for Geeks and Gamers Daily around 11 a.m. Eastern. And then I might try to take it easy. I'm going to try to get some sleep tonight. I'm going to try. I don't get, like, Hailstorm gets less than me on sleep. So let's just make sure we know about that. Hailstorm, when's the last time you slept?
I think actually last night after I stayed up for another 2 days. That was after the 2 days I stayed up prior. So
yeah, that's not healthy at all.
I've had like maybe 10 hours of sleep this whole week.
Yeah. So, well, we're going to call it there, guys. So thank you all so much. We appreciate it. Thanks to Jay Hailstorm, to Eric Hay, to Jed, and thank you to the Snake Pit for rising up as always. I really love all of you guys and I appreciate it. And I'm going to try to get some sleep so I can be back better than ever for all of you. So you guys have a great night and we'll talk to all of you later. Good night, everyone.